Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. In the event of an emergency, there are 2 exits located at the back of the auditorium and 2 on the front on either side of the stage. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first thing we're going to do is the election of Board of Education President for 2024-2025 year. Do I have any nominations for the President of the Board of Education?
I nominate Mark Hilberger.
Any discussion or any other nominations? Did someone want to second that?
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? I believe I bring this down to you, Mark, to do the rest.
All right, thank you once again for your support. I appreciate it. Looking forward to leading us and moving us forward this year. Next up will be, I need to do the oath of office.
I'm sorry.
Schedule the
Oh,
oath.
yeah. Sorry. That's okay. Okay.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Board of Education President according to the best of my ability. Once again, thank you guys. Appreciate it. All right, next up we have nominations for Vice President. So I'll open the table to any nominations for Vice President.
I motion to nominate Stephanie.
Stephanie, do I have a second? Therese, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? 7 of them. Any abstentions? Okay. All right. Congratulations, Stephanie.
Thank you.
You're up now for the oath there at the bottom.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the Board of Education Vice President according to the best of my ability.
Next up, we have the oath of office for the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Sork.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of New York State, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Superintendent of Schools according to the best of my ability.
Next up, we have the appointment of officers and oath of office. In the past, have we done this at the reorg, or have people done it at different times?
Yeah.
We'll just do the district clerk.
Okay.
So we need to make a motion to approve the appointment of officers.
So you want us to make you want to make a motion to remove the people that aren't here?
No, to approve.
No,
appointment
Oh,
of officers.
okay.
So the people that are on the list.
All right, and then we do the oath after that. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the list of officers that we have here? Nancy, you want a second? Ed, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? 7-0. All right, Michelle.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the district clerk according to the best of my ability.
All right, next up, we have administrative reports.
All right, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had an enjoyable Independence Day. It's great to see everybody. Congratulations to Mark and Stephanie to the re-election of President and Vice President. We look forward to working with you as we move forward. Once again, congratulations to the class of 2024. I thought the ceremony was great. It was very respectful and honored our graduates, and we also did it in an efficient fashion. I had many guests after come up and compliment on how nice the entire thing was. So congratulations to everyone who could participate in that, and then also to our graduates. We wish them the best. Next week, we'll be holding our annual leadership retreat. This year, it is being held at the Strath Allen, and I would like to thank Kristen, Ned, and Adam for all their efforts in planning and facilitation. So that's everything I have for you this evening. I'll answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Dr. Sark? Okay, next up, Ms. Pauline.
All right, things got awfully busy in the Office of Instruction this week. We kicked off our curriculum writing on Monday and have projects lined up all week this week as well as the week of July 22nd. We're also hosting a variety of summer programs here on campus, all of which begin either this week or next week. We will be hosting the Boise Regional Summer School at the high school. We have a small program for our Alt Ed program happening at the high school this summer as well. Merton Williams will be hosting a summer booster program for our 6-7 students and 7-8 students. We have an elementary boot camp that starts next week for students in grades 1 through 6. That will be housed at Village this summer. And here at Quest, we will have the elementary extended school year program beginning tomorrow. And our secondary extended school year program starts at Homesteads for Hope this Thursday, so hopefully the weather holds out for that. And our English language learners attending the summer program will be hosted this year by Churchville Chi-Li. We use our Title III funds to participate in a collaborative effort among a couple of different districts. We've hosted for a number of years, and this year students will attend at Churchville Chi-Li. Happy to answer any questions if you have them.
All right, anything else? Mr. Dale.
Just a quick hiring update. I'm pleased to let you know we're filling our final openings. Anticipate having those recommendations for you as well tonight, as well as signed a great school psychologist yesterday, which, as you might know, are very, very difficult to find. She's moving to us from Portland, so we are pleased to pick her up, and she was just delightful yesterday meeting with her. We have the same shared philosophy, so pretty exciting. And speaking with other human resource managers across the county just in the last couple of days, we're seeing great candidates. I think I shouldn't say it's surprising, but we're seeing great candidates. And on the administrative end, human resource officers are saying that the pools are very, very small, but very talented. So I think people, as the market tightens a little bit, I think we're seeing quality candidates still, and I'm very excited. We also have several applications for contract subs for the fall. So that strategy that we've used over the past couple of years seems to be working, and we have over 20 applicants to be a contract sub. So that's also good for us, knowing that the sub pool will increase and provide a little relief to our instructional staff. So I'm also looking forward to next week and the in the leadership retreat. I think it's important to note that as we continue to work on culture, we'll bring our head custodians, our cook managers, and other leaders to the leadership retreat, and they'll be working with Brittany and I will be facilitating a session with Lauren Rubis, who we've worked with in the past. He'll be remote, but we worked with him again this week, and we feel like it's to really continue to work on culture. These individuals, head custodians, are the first people that go into a teacher's classroom. Our cook managers are the ones dealing with children and making sure that they have it. So it's really important that we get this next group of leaders, to understand what we have learned over the past year and a half working with Lauren. And so we're excited. Lauren's created a dynamic presentation where Brittany and I are excited to work with him and support that group. And then again, begin our own planning of action steps that the Human Resources Department can take next year to support, all of what we've done around culture. So, and that's all I have tonight.
Anything else for Mr. Day? Hey, Mr. Geis.
Yeah, I have an update for you on our $37.2 million capital project. So it looks like this is going to be broken down into phase one, which is already submitted and at the state for review. We have phase 2A and a phase 2B, which we're hoping to have phase 2A submitted by the end of this month, phase 2B shortly thereafter. And then hopefully everything goes well with all of the bid openings associated with this, that we have a little bit of money left and we can pick up an additional phase 3 for that. So that's the good news. The bad news is the length of time it is taking SCD to get through this is now over 8 months. So this is really extending our original thought process. If you remember back to the Long Range Planning Committee and when we kind of had these timelines, we were hoping to be able to start work this summer. That is now going to be delayed and going to be pushed out until starting next summer. So I do think we have really good plans in place. We've involved a ton of different stakeholders in the details of the project. So I think we've done a really nice job on that. I'm really looking forward to the start of the project. We're hoping that we could see some improvement in that timeline if the state does go forward with the third-party review. They've used that in the past when they've had a backlog of projects out there to be reviewed. They were originally supposed to have that in place by September, and now that's been delayed. Now they're talking about having that in October. So it may or may not fall within our plans to be able to take advantage of that, but we're keeping an eye on it, and we're hopeful if we can improve ours by a couple months, we'll definitely look into going that route. So that's kind of where we are now with the capital project. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Mr. Geis? All right, we have no public comments, so we'll move on to the approval of minutes from the June 25th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the June 25th meeting? Ms. Price, do I have a second? Nancy, any discussion? All in favor? 7-0 on the minutes. Next up is the consent agenda, which is quite lengthy. It goes all the way through double G, and there is also an addendum. So a lot of it's the standard reorganizational meeting stuff. Does anybody have any questions?
I have one comment. I mentioned to Dr. Ksorek at the beginning, before we started, that the October 22nd date is going to fall in the middle of NISBA. So you may want to consider revising that date, because I imagine a number of us may be attending that. Just as something to put on our radar early.
All right, that is a good catch. So, is that something you would be able to accommodate?
Yeah, I would approve it now and then we can modify it later.
Yep.
So we either would go a week early and go 2 in a row, or go the first week of, that would have to look at the calendar, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
I did have, I'm just making sure it's in this portion of the consent. I just wanted to note, Adam, like the paper supply bid approval, is that in that? We're still seeing real increases between our bid and what's finally approved as we break down things. It was a $5,000 difference on that one.
Yep. This was from a food service or paper supply bid. Scott was working with BOCES and the vendor on that. He did say that he was going to be able to accommodate within his budget. Obviously, going with CEP is going to help bring in additional revenue, so he doesn't have any concern other than the fact that it was a little off on his estimate.
But we're still seeing trends in like paper, food.
Yeah, everything
Office
inflationary
supplies.
is being impacted by inflation. Yeah, more so than it has in the past several years.
Any other questions about the consent of the agenda? right, do I have a motion to approve the consent portion with the addendum? Nancy, do I have a second? Kaylee, any further discussion? All in favor? 7-0. Okay, next up, we have the new business on 8. So, appointments to board level committees. I feel like I missed something. And I jumped to consent portion without doing the board member reports. So, we're gonna backtrack. I was getting too excited. All right, so board member reports. I think, Michelle, are you asking for, I noticed here that we have approval requests for workshops and stuff. Are you interested in knowing who's thinking about going to New York City?
I gotta be honest with you, that was in there last year, so I put it in the
Okay.
agenda. I'm not really sure, so, but yes, we can,
So if you could figure out when registration open, and maybe shoot an email.
sure.
Yeah,
So-
so usually like either now or what is it, July 15th?
Yeah, I can check. I just got to the office yesterday, so.
So then I guess depending on if we have, how many people decide to go, then we will make a decision on whether or not we need to meet. I mean, we can have a meeting with 4 or 5 people. So,
So I'd like to go and do the law conference.
Okay.
And because of my winnings, I get free convention tuition or whatever NISBA calls it.
so we'll get a decision from everybody eminently, and then we can make a decision about that next meeting. All right, I do not have anything overly important to report. I thought graduation was awesome. It was the pictures that I got, really appreciated that, for that moment with my daughter, so that I'm very thankful for that. One thing I did want to mention in my report here is, I did mention that we would move forward with a board self-evaluation, so I will get on that and get that out in an email and a timeline for that, so that we can hit the ground running at the beginning of August with that. So we won't see each other probably for another 6 weeks or so. Okay, so I will send that information out in email. It'll be through board docs, or not board docs, super email. All right, anything from you, Ms. Sloan?
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report.
No, I concur, the graduation was a lovely event, and I also really enjoyed attending the retirement event. And I just think you guys do such a nice job getting it organized between the bus and the lunch and then the service awards. It was just such a really wonderful experience to see all of that.
I have no report.
I just want to publicly acknowledge Dr. Tom Putnam as our new BOCES 2 district superintendent and wish Joanne well. I know she's still sticking around until September.
I believe so, yeah.
So,
Sorry to
that'll be
hear about
exciting.
Just to echo, graduation was great. It's always a great event to see everybody celebrate the awards as well. Some of the retirees seem a little bit more motivated when they retire than when they start their career, which is great to see. I'm happy and excited to see what the next chapter will be like. We've got them all, we've got them all signed.
All right, next up, we'll get back on track here with discussion items. We have our board level committees to discuss. So first up is district improvement, which is facilitated by Ms. Polini. Last year, we had Ms. Price and Ms. Bennett. Do you guys wish to continue?
I do.
All right, so we'll stick with them there. Policy, Nancy and Therese.
Yes.
Okay, this is going rather smoothly.
That's quite all.
Board development, so I've mentioned before that I wanted to go back to our old practice of mirroring with the audit committee. So I have those dates. So what would happen is audit and board development would meet at the same time. So Kaylee, you were on board development last year, even though we weren't as proactive as we probably should have been. So I'm looking for at least one more person to be on board development, because we can't go before. All right, Therese, we'll add there. Kaylee, you're interested in staying. All right, audit. Nancy, are you willing to facilitate again?
Yep.
Outstanding. And then Christine.
I would like to continue.
You stick with that. So we can take one more person there if we want. Or you guys can just meet us at exec. No one jumping up and down. So we'll move on to long range planning, which is going to be not active, right? Right. So we don't have to worry about that. Safety. Last year we had Ed, Christine, and Nancy. Staying with that, Nancy. And Christine.
Yeah, unless, someone else wants to go on.
All right. Okay, moving right along. This is very helpful to have last year's person. Now we have the board, education liaisons, and site control budget committees. So Stephanie, you good with athletics again? Buildings and grounds?
I add 2 athletics.
You want to add to that?
Yeah.
Okay. Building and grounds, Nancy and Ed. Good with that?
Yep.
All right. Learning support services, Nancy.
Yep.
All right. Transportation, Ed, you good?
Yep.
All right, I'll stick with music. Anybody else wants to jump on, feel free to speak up. Central services, Christine.
Yes.
All right.
Can I add to central services?
Okay, Nancy. Quest, anybody want to join Nancy? All right. Village, Therese.
Yep.
Good with that? Anybody? Northwood, Stephanie. Anybody want to go there? And then Morton Williams was myself and Kaylee. I will stick with that. Is that good, Kaylee?
Yep.
And then the high school, Christine and myself. Technology, Nancy, you're good with that?
Yep.
All right, anybody want to be added on anywhere? All right. Livermore County School Boards. I will be on executive as well as board leadership. Information exchange,
I'll still do that.
And I want to continue as well.
okay. Labor relations.
I'll continue with that also.
So,
I wasn't on it, but I can do it.
Okay.
yeah, so just to know, you would have received an email from Amy Thomas.
That's
that-
the name change?
Yeah, so labor relations is now
Yep.
district operations, so it includes more things than labor relations. And all of our meetings will be at the Strathallen this year. So we're able to get it, it's also a double tree, so we're going to announce a double tree. What's that?
More centralized as well.
It's more centralized, right? We can get some.
Are those meetings usually at?
12 to 1.
So,
One of the district operation meetings?
They're usually 12 to 1, and they're usually on Wednesdays.
right. And you should have or received the calendar for the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're all listed on there. Both information exchange and district operations are, you can join by Zoom. We're doing that again this year, and then the legislative meeting is not,
What time is legislative committee? That's different.
again, noon Wednesdays.
So that, I can't do that. So if somebody wants to jump in there.
I would do legislative committee.
Can you add me to the district operations one?
All right, so we're adding Kaylee to district operations, and we're adding Christine to legislative.
Yep.
Is steering active? Is that something?
So steering is a committee of your co-chairs and some superintendents, who are, the superintendent to the president, which is Dennis Lava. So, no, we don't have representation on steering.
Are we missing anything?
No.
All right, so myself on executive, Kaylee and Christine on information exchange, district operations, Stephanie and Christine, and Kaylee, legislative, Christine. All right.
And just a note that everybody has access to the Monroe County School Board's website, which has all the minutes and recordings of all the meetings, the information exchange, labor, legislative. So everybody has access to all the materials.
We could all make Nancy really good, we could look really good if we all log in.
No, it's definitely Amy Thomas is keeping track, so.
All right, so next up, board designation and appointment. So we need to know if Stephanie is interested in doing Health and Educational Foundation. Yeah.
I don't mind doing it unless someone else wants to. I'm happy to do it again.
Okay. All right, and then we have the list for the other ones, so I need a motion to approve those designations. Nancy, second by Christine. Any discussion? All in favor? 7-0. All right, standing operating procedures and board etiquette. We haven't really tweaked this in a few years. So looking for a motion to approve our operating procedures and board etiquette.
So moved.
Christine, do I have a second? Nancy, any discussion? All in favor? 7-0. All right. And that is a wrap on the reorganization meeting. Do I
And
have?
can I just bring something up?
Sure.
On our agendas, we have at the beginning, our mission and responsible to represent the entire community. Can we somehow incorporate our cadet intentional values and fix that statement, whichever we need to? It's certainly a great reminder that we're on board with.
Is that okay with the rest of the board?
Yes,
Yes.
I think now that Stephanie and I are moving forward, we will probably get together and look at the format and the layout, and there might be some more suggestions forthcoming due to the videotaping and things like that. So we will have more discussion on the agenda format. All right?
And just one question. So what's the plan on board development with the entire group, like retreats and that sort of thing?
So I think my thoughts were, our first goal is to complete the board self-evaluation. So my hope is that everybody will have that completed at the very minimum by once we get back in the fall. And then we would have a board development meeting to kind of lay the groundwork for those plans. So the people that have signed up for board development will start those discussions, and then we'll bring them to the entire board. When is the first audit meeting, Adam? Do you know off the top of your head?
Don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's usually like,
We have a placeholder in September.
October,
I think it's
right?
October.
All right, so we may tweak that a little bit. So Stephanie and I will get together. We won't want to wait till October to have a board development. So that information will be forthcoming. All right? Anything else? All right, do a motion to adjourn. No one wants to. Nancy, any discussion about leaving? All right, all in favor? All right, have a good night, everybody.
Have a good summer, everybody.